What's going on, family? We are live. I wonder if we live on. Yeah, we live on YouTube.
Live and in action.
We live on YouTube. Okay, family. We got like a. I don't know what to call this. I don't know if it's like this a special report or like a breaking news. It's not really breaking news. We knew it was gonna happen, but we coming to talk about the presidential debate between Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump. What's going on,
Absolutely.
family? It's me, it's Solomon, and now Luke over here. Luke in the building.
The house, Luke in the house.
On
What's
this,
going on, everybody? What's going on? Looking to engage with some new people to the channel. You know, this is a big thing going on, and we wanted to talk about it and see how the people feel. See what you feel about the situation. See what's on your mind. You
now I
know,
know this is a Tuesday night. It's pretty late. In
yeah.
Atlanta right now, it's 12:40, so it's a little on the late side tonight. But this also like our first test of how we gonna start doing some of these live streams. See how y'all like it. See how y'all like it.
Yeah.
All right. So what you wanna tackle first, Luke? What you want to talk about first, or your initial
Well,
thoughts of how everything went down?
well, first thing that I noticed is again, like I said before, I think they were underestimating her, which gave her an advantage because anyway you come out after people have underestimated you so much, you're gonna sound good. I think there were some issues with the answering of the questions. I understood what she was saying, what Kamala Harris was saying, and I understood the point that was being pushed. But there were certain questions that the moderators were asking that I think could have been a little bit more addressed, especially when it dealt with the international issues. You know, it's like it's one thing to answer their question, but then it's another thing to talk about what somebody else did wrong when they were there. It's like that's not what the moderator asked you. As far as Trump is concerned, yeah, I think he definitely a mistake he made was with the eating of the animals thing. Um, I get it. You know, they probably threw that to him fast. The team probably threw that to him fast, but they could have looked into that a little bit better. Um, I think he was way more collected than people thought he would be. And I must say that I was kind of surprised at how the moderators allowed him to actually have his piece. The moderators wasn't as rude as I thought they were gonna actually be, especially seeing as how they're openly not for Trump. I mean, they don't really like him. You can tell from the way that their platform is set up. So it was interesting. It was
He
definitely
kept
interesting.
interrupting them most of the time, though.
Yeah, you could tell he's not his fan, but I thought it would have been way worse. Like I thought it would have been way worse. So
Yeah, we are live. I was just double checking. Can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you well.
I think my sound had kind of went out for a second.
It ain't sound like you went out. I've been hearing you well the whole time.
Okay, so um, I wanted to get to a couple of things. So my first initial thoughts, of course, was more so of what really are we voting for now? My conspiracy theory self, I I don't know about the voting system. I don't have total trust or faith in our voting system, especially when we were told long ago that our votes really didn't matter because everything goes through the electoral college. So that's my initial first thoughts, right? But my second thing is why uh are some of these questions that is being asked that I really wanted some answers to being avoided and evaded. And that happened with both candidates. I'm not just going to put my finger and just say it was Trump because he did it multiple times, but also Kamala had her way. She did one when she evaded a question as well. So, in terms of debates of how intellectual and how uh, it was articulated and presented to the people, Trump actually didn't go off the handle as I thought he would. It wasn't so much of a woman attacking. I think that was smart on his behalf because I think that would have kind of went against him. You know, having a black woman, which they also brought up. I'm gonna ask you that question too about it, but having a black woman as his opponent, he was very careful about how he wanted to attack her. He attacked mostly, a lot of his shots was still towards Biden, and he dragged her in it and said it's also your fault too because you were the vice president. Um, so I wrote some stuff down because I was taking notes. They first started off a lot about with the abortion stuff, and like how we said on one of the episodes of the podcast, we're not, we're not going to elaborate and really get onto the whole woman and what she should do with her body thing. We should leave that up. I think we all were kind of like just lead it up to the woman itself. But Kamala in this debate was basically blaming Trump, saying that Trump, you're going to be the one who is going to allow such type of monstrosities to happen when it comes to abortions, such as, oh, you're going to ban abortion so that when a woman who has been mistreated and might have been involved in a crime, have a crime against her body, that you're going to allow these babies to live. His stance wasn't so like that.
Yeah, yeah, it wasn't. I'm glad you brought that point up, Solomon. So with this issue, you and I was talking, and it's so irrelevant now because it's up to the states, and that is so much better. Let the people vote on what they want to do. There are 9 times out of 10 going to be more women that vote on the issue. Let them vote. Let them come together as a community. Because see, when they disagree with each other as neighbors, that's one thing. But when you step in and you're trying to be the federal government and tell them to do that, it gets messy. But when you let them hold themselves to accountability as a community, then they're able to make decisions on where they live and what they stand for. And then that way we're not even in the conversation no more. We're like you said earlier, we're hey, but let them vote. Let them have a voice. And now the Supreme Court has ruled that they do. The state decides. And you know who votes? The people of the state. So now to me it's like there ain't even a presidential conversation no more. That's like leave the states alone. The states can do what they want to do. That's why they're able to do what they need to do to take care of themselves. Yes, the federal can step in times of emergency, but I don't see Donald Trump declaring that to be an emergency situation with all the things that's going on right now in the world. If you notice, it's not even talked about as much. There are other things going on that both candidates could really be homing in on to win the people over and show them, look, I see what your issues are. I see the problems you have, and I see how much of a change you want. And this is my plan to get it done.
I
You know.
agree. I agree. He was basically like my hands ain't on that. That's up to the states now. The federal government shouldn't even touch it anymore, and that's what he's stating now. One of the things that we also discussed on the podcast was Project 2025, and Trump. This is what he said. I'm just going off what he said. I don't know if he's lying or not. He said that he has nothing to do with Project 2025. Somebody else wrote that article. A bunch of people got together, wrote the article, and he's like, I didn't read it, and I don't want to read it. So what you think about that? You think he's telling the truth on that?
I can kind of believe he didn't read it. You can't decide when you want to. You can't decide when a man when you believe a man is arrogant. He is. He does. He has the right to be arrogant. He's earned it.
Yeah.
But you can't decide when to turn that on and off for somebody when it fits you. So his arrogance of just how he handles himself, which like I would believe he didn't read it. He seems like the type of person who anything he don't like, he don't surround himself around because he has the power. And even that alone becomes a great presidential tool to have in your toolbox because even once you get in, you're going to be surrounded around people wanting to get their agenda across. So I think this is why the American people always look for a strong president that's going to get things done, regardless of all of the noise in the background and the I want this. Yeah, you got to grease some palms as you go down the road. You got to make some people happy. But your main agenda is supposed to be on delivering as many promises as you can on what you campaigned on, so that then when you come back around again for the next term, you're able to say what you got done, not what you're going to do again. It's about what you get done. Kamala has been in there for 4 years. So the problem for her is that they're going to keep asking, well, you've been in there and y'all were together. You was the last one in the room, remember? That's your quote. That's her quote, not ours. So you have to explain why so many people are unhappy for multiple legitimate reasons. One of the main reasons is that when we go to Home Depot, it's just people everywhere
Yeah.
because people are displaced. We're dysfunctional now, and we're too intelligent of a country to be dysfunctional. Then we got to look at our own selves in the mirror and be like, what are we doing? We're creating promises for people other places, and we can't fulfill for the people that we're taking care of. And the one thing you and our queen have taught us is that charity starts at home. So how can you get mad at American people for being like, hey, ain't nothing wrong with helping people, but hey, we need help. We need a little something. Our bread is almost $6. So we're not complaining. We just saying, hey, we're not getting paid more for what you're charging more. We don't mind working hard, 40 hours, 60 hours. We grown. But it gotta make sense.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because that was the thing that they brought up in the debate as well.
Mm-hmm.
Kamala is standing on that she has always been a person for the people. That's her thing. She's gonna always keep saying it. I am a president for the people. I have been, she said, my only client, and this was kind of like a business jab at Donald Trump. She said that Kamala said, my only client has always been the people. I have been a prosecutor in my state for the people. I have been a senate in my state for the people, and now I've been a vice president for the people. Now, my comment on that is like, nah, the vice president part, nah. I don't know what you was doing in California. I've never lived in California. But nah, I'm not going to allow you to sit here and say that you have been vice president for the United States of America, because I haven't heard from you since this year started. Like, I haven't seen any new press release, any thoughts of how the economy or country has been since you've been under Biden. I haven't heard from you or Biden until it was time to get reelected. That's my stance on it. So she was basically saying Trump is just not a president for the people, but she will be if she is elected.
Well, brother, I mean, I can say I did it. I did a little digging into her before she, popped up basically out of nowhere. But I mean, she was working her land as a prosecutor and working her land as a senator,
District
you know,
attorney. Yep.
district attorney, senator. She was working her land, but unfortunately, the thing she was touching was not turning into gold. And patterns are created from your actions. No one else controls that. Actually, this evening, a very wise woman said, "You get to choose what you do, but you don't get to choose the consequences." And if you look at the patterns of what she touches, things don't turn to gold. So at some point, you should get used to the fact that when she touches something, it ain't gonna turn into gold. You gotta eventually look at yourself and say, how often do I gotta see this to know what's gonna happen? And it could be a character flaw, it could be whatever you want to say. It's just the reality of it. Not everyone gets to be the CEO. It's a reason why not everyone can be the CEO. Because there has to be the smartest person in the room for everyone to thrive. And you was the vice president for 4 years. You have the power now. We're not even thinking about who is running the country, god damn it. I mean, you campaigning, Biden is on vacation. Like, has anybody stopped to even think about that? So, at some point, you'd be like, man, this is such an interesting game that's being played because we're this close to election time, and I mean, I don't know. I think people are gonna be more surprised at how she did, but it's just not adding up. It's not adding up.
Well, she did
And
it, like I say at the top of the live that we got going right now. She did a great job articulating herself. Um, so I don't think that she misrepresented herself in any type of way. She did
right,
a
you
great
can't hit her
job.
below the belt.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't hit her below the
So,
belt. You
so
gotta
she,
hit her here. You gotta hit her fifth.
but a lot of what Trump was like, because he kept interrupting a lot, but he just kept nailing to the American people, hey, like how you just said, you're talking about what you can do as president. You're still vice president right now.
The
Why don't you
second
just make
powerful
these changes
person,
right now?
the second most powerful person in the world, technically.
So why? And Trump kept asking during the debate, why don't you just go after this debate, go back to the White House, make these changes that you said that you want to make, and then we'll believe you.
But see, they were playing. I don't know if you saw Solomon. They were playing this morning the clip. They had a conversation with Bernie Sanders, and they asked him about her changing a lot of her views, which are just obvious because she drastically changed them. She went from saying she was going to ban fracking to now she's not going to ban. It's just stuff, how politicians are. They're going to notice everything. And he said, well, she's basically playing the game. She's trying to come off more, I forgot he used a certain word. I can't remember right now, but I would prefer to use that word. But he used a certain term, and he was basically saying she's doing what she needs to do to get elected.
Yeah.
And pragmatic. There it is. She's being pragmatic in order to
Mhm.
get elected, and that's exactly what the people are expecting. They're like, okay, so how can we believe you? If you're going to be pragmatic to get elected, what's going to say you're going to be, you're not going to flip again once you are elected and do everything opposite of what you're saying now?
But ain't that what all politicians do?
Yes, but they don't do it this blatantly. This blatant almost this this is like almost like spitting in somebody's face and then saying what you gonna do about it.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? It's not like stepping on
mhm.
by somebody's shoe. It's a whole nother different level of disrespectful because you're playing with grown people who are older than you and I, intelligence, and they don't like that. Don't play with their intelligence when they pay all this money in taxes, when they work this hard, when they've been doing this, they got pensions. Don't play with their intelligence like they slow. You got to say and stand on what you're going to do so they can make a logical decision. And logical people like to make logical decisions. They don't like to feel like they were behooved because you wanted to win. That shows bad character. At least, like they always say, and I've been saying this since we started the podcast, you know what you're going to get from them. We know what we're going to get from both of them, actually, which makes this race so interesting. They both have had or are holding power. So you're able to say, let's look at your resume, and then let's look at your resume. And your resume, you were dealing with some really weird stuff, but you still did okay. I wonder what it would be like if you didn't have COVID. With your resume, there ain't no COVID. So I don't really know what to say about that. Because what was y'all doing? Why are the American people so upset? From the Democratic side to the Republican side, everybody pissed off. At least with Trump, they were pissed off at the virus. Yeah, some people didn't like how he handled it, but a lot of people did. Because even before the virus hit, things were running smooth. We was just making our way downtown, walking fast, throwing tariffs on people. Oh,
But
you talking stuff? Up, up, you ain't paying us enough money. Up, you ain't giving us enough money. We need our money. We work too hard over here for that. He was like just handling business, and we all the plumbers are plumbing, the engineers are engineering, the teachers are teaching. You know what I'm saying? Everybody just doing their thing.
well, that and he made that point too. Also in the debate, he also said that during my administration, when it came to COVID, we handled it the best way we could, and we created jobs. He said, "What you all did, what Biden and Kamala did, was you guys just made bounce back jobs. Y'all didn't off of what he already created." And so that was a whole thing too. Everybody was talking about that. Like I say, Trump kept hammering into the people that the border. He says Kamala is weak on a border patrol. You keep on letting in so many migrants. They don't say immigrants anymore. I guess that's the new switch to 2024 thing now, that you can't say immigrants. You got to call them migrants, or immigrants relate to a whole different new definition that you're trying to do. Political, whatever, semantics. Anyway, basically he said that Kamala is soft and weak on the border patrol, and that Kamala is now letting in criminals into America. He said now all the other countries, the third world countries now, are now safer. Then now America crime rate now is about to go up because of all of the migrants. Kamala is like, no, that's not happening. Of course, she's going to say that. But she accused Trump. She said, well, Trump, why didn't you have 1,500 people, the 1,500 people that they was supposed to put down at the border to protect us? They didn't go down there when you were in office. Trump's response was like, hey, I did that. I made that call and everything, but I guess the plan didn't fall into place.
Well, the border issue is very interesting as well because at one point she said, back before she was anywhere near the whole Biden situation of becoming vice president, she called him crazy and she said making the wall didn't make sense. So the fundamental side of you now saying that it does, it's kind of just like, I mean, it's just so obvious.
He said that too. He said she doesn't have a policy. She's actually taking Biden's policy, which is 4 sentences, and then she also taking my policies now and using what I'm saying in our
Basic.
debates.
And it's like you don't even have to go into a long monologue about it because it's just so obvious. Like it's like, okay, y'all talk bad about the idea when he first said it. Now
Yeah.
you want to hop on board and take credit for it? Again, American people don't like to be treated like they slow. And they think about this when they make decisions. It doesn't matter how many people vote, it's about how the people who are voting think. And that's where all this lies. So I mean, again, like I said, the debate to me was good. It was professional. Yeah, they both had their moments where they interrupt, but we kind of expect that. We don't want it to be boring. We want it to be a little fire in there. We want to see if they can handle the heat.
Trump is hilarious. I think he's going to go down as one of the presidents in history who was very entertaining.
Never can't see him being forgotten for a good amount of time.
He said that too. People writing books about him and all this other stuff. He fired the people that's writing books about him.
Yeah, he's. I
He's like,
mean,
you're never gonna be remembered. You're never gonna have anybody to ever write a book about you because you're not gonna do anything. You're not even gonna win this election. No one's gonna vote for you.
and I mean it. I guess for some people it is a bittersweet thing because he is a wealthy man,
Yeah.
but it is in if you're dealing with a different country, probably monarchy, that could be a problem. But because of the way this system is set up, a man that already has wealth is actually more powerful and less capable to control. Because you can't dangle shiny things in front of him and he's gonna say, ooh, he's gonna be like, I got that in my closet, bro. Like, come on, get out of here with that. And that's kind of the type of person you want because you want people making sound decisions, not because someone is in their ear saying what they're gonna give them. And I'm gonna give you a $40 million book sign. Just get this passed. Just get. You don't want that in times like this where there's not that much trust between the people and the government.
Kamala also accused Trump of not caring about the middle class. She said, like I say, she's a person. She said she's for the people. So she just keep reiterating that, hey, Trump, you are a person who's trying to have your billionaires' backs, your billionaire friends, your homies. You're just trying to have their backs. You're not really trying to hear or care about what the people want. Luke, do you believe, and just off face value, we're not even going to go into the deep information that we both know about politics in this country. Do you believe either one of these presidential candidates care about the people itself?
I can yeah, I gotta answer this question about money talks and everything else walks. I
Okay.
would see Trump caring for the people more because the way he's made money from his fellow citizens. So
Okay.
let's say they're not these important people, right, Solomon? Let's say they're just average citizens.
Mm,
I always ask the question, how do people give back to the society that they live in? Are they
mm,
a productive people? Are they building? Are they creating? Are they influencing? What are they doing? If we think about Kamala Harris, she says she's for the people, but in reality, she's been on the people's payroll. And
mm,
that's just the reality of the job. It's not a bad thing, but it is the reality. Creation and maintaining things is two different things. She's been maintaining, and maintaining is needed, but maintaining comes after a great creator has made something for you to maintain. Trump is a creator. He like he just likes to do stuff. Clearly, he's certain people in the world just like that. So again, what do you think American
well,
people?
Kamala say what he created because he got $400 million handed to him as supposedly through his father
as
and
a
all this
rich
other stuff,
as
but he got bankrupt 6 times. So Kamala like,
as
what's
a
that?
rich man supposed to. I heard other rich men say you ain't really rich until you've been bankrupt, until you
Mm,
done lost it all and got it back. So when does
mm.
but now the motivational speech ain't motivational no more?
Now you talking. Now
You
you
feel me?
talking.
You feel You can't make this stuff work for your argument when you want it to. And I try to tell people that. If someone did good in something, you gotta say they did good. I live in Chicago. When I ride past the Trump Tower, it is an immaculate building. I don't care. The allness comes from the creation. And what can you give back? So I'm talking jobs, opportunity, all of these things that people are able to come from. Now, Kamala has did a lot with putting certain people in prison. She's did a lot with legislation, which also included putting people in prison. She loved putting people in prison. That's just her thing. But do the American people need that type of mindset right now? Maintaining. That's what putting people in prison is. It's a definitely needed job. We need people to do that. We need people to write legislation and to see that things get done as senators and even as vice presidents to maintain. But then you suck at most of what you do, and then the things that you're good at, unfortunately, you're not able to express it to the people in the way that they're able to translate it. They don't like that. Again, these are not slow people. These are grown folks, and they're not slow.
I agree with you.
Bro.
Um,
Wait, but I got a question for you, bro. I got a
Go
question.
ahead.
The if Kamala was tonight was to debate Biden back when he was running, if it wasn't I asked you this question before, if it wasn't Trump and the Biden debate and there was a Kamala and the Biden debate, who do you think would be the winner from her performance tonight?
I believe it will be Kamala
I
because
agree.
Biden was just totally incompetent, and that was their plan to put him in that sort of situation where he looked like he was just not capable of running a country. Like
Hmm.
we said on the podcast before, hey, that's a we got some people who are already predicting and prophesying that she's gonna be the president anyway, and that was a whole type of setup and scam for her to get there. So, um, I want to get to so like I say, Trump just keep on hammering with the migrants and things of that nature. So the moderator did ask Trump, okay, well, since the report said there's 11 million migrants, you believe that the number is higher that's supposedly in America right now? He's like, yeah, I do believe it's higher. He said, okay, well, how would you go about getting rid of these migrants? Are you going to go door to door? Trump didn't answer the question, but I wanted him to, but I know it was a political move of why he didn't. So I'm not going to trip over it.
Hmm.
Going
I
door
do
to
have some
door,
ideas.
going door to door looking for people is damn near martial law to me. Like just the thought of it.
I think
Again,
it'll probably be the largest deportation.
it probably would. It
It'll
probably
be
would.
a
But
deportation.
I don't. A lot of his man down here in Atlanta, I'll be listening to the radio and stuff. They're playing a lot of ads of like basically support Kamala, of course, because Trump is saying this and Trump is saying that, and they're making him the advertising and propaganda is working because I'm sure like, damn, he said this,
Well,
and I'm just like, what? And I'm over
he,
listening to something like, do I really agree with some of that stuff?
yeah, he has an uphill. He still has a battle because again, these people is one thing you can't lie about is if you can physically see somebody. When you can physically see someone and even touch them, it's real. That's not politics. I'm able to physically see people who I know are not from here. Not because I think, because they tell me. They write it on a board and they tell me they're not from here. They actually tell you where they're from. And they standing on the corner trying to sell you some Skittles and strawberries. That's not okay. If anyone is running a country, the decency and order, and you know, we understand these things because it's how we was taught. But there is a certain zeal that your country is supposed to carry, whether it's your community, your neighborhood, or your house. But your country, you already got all these homeless people in San Francisco and California, San Francisco, California. You got all these people there. You got all this mess. with the border going on. The least you can do is have your people in decency, and then you're gonna bring other people to sit there and add to the mess. It's a mess. Anybody with logic is gonna say that's not right. We should not invite people to come here and then just leave them there. Just leave them there. Now they filling up the hotels. Again, I'm in Chicago. I see they're unhappy because ain't nothing to do, and people don't like to feel like ain't nothing to do. Y'all gave them a promise. Y'all know y'all shouldn't fulfill the promise because it's not going to do anything but mess up the economy.
I have a theory because Trump said that too. He said that the migrants is going to mess up the economy that we already messed up. But I have a theory about the migrants because one of her, before I get to the ending, the closing parts, the last one of the big things is, well, two things. One thing is the moderator asks, like, why does it matter um, if Kamala is black or not, basically. But before he asked that question, he made a statement that Trump said. He was reading something. He said, Trump, you said a while ago that she just recently turned into a black woman. First, she wasn't a black woman. Now she is a black woman. And then he went to say, why is your opponent's ethnicity important? Trump immediately got out of that. He answered the question, got out of that because he knew what was debate of it. He was basically saying, it doesn't matter what color she is. I don't care. Now, my question for us is, did Kamala play the black card for the emotional response of the black people of America to get behind her? Did she play the black card? Because I remember too that at first she did say she wasn't black. I remember that report as well. That wasn't just made up. Like, people be talking about
Come out of
huh?
these things come straight out of her mouth.
Yeah, she said this. This was said though. She's not black. She was born this and that, and she was from, let me say, Canada or something. When she was going to high school and stuff, and then also like what her roots are, like her blood. And then also who she's married to. It's just a lot of stuff that was going on that was weird. And I know people that's probably watching this or that's going to watch this, we kind of sound like we're kind of tilting towards Trump's side. I'm just going to say I'm neutral. I'm not going to ask Luke who he's voting for. We're not going to do that on this channel. But we're not going to go with this whole narrative that the media is trying to put of this is a man versus a woman. And so the black man is on Trump's side and the black women is on Kamala's side. We're not going to do that. We're not dividing the black culture like that. But it is an interesting point that even the moderator had pointed out that she said that Trump said she was black and then now she not. So what do you think about that whole little thing?
For anybody that's watching, if you look over the past few episodes, I've constantly said it don't matter what color, purple, green, orange. That's not the issue anymore. Something that's very unique about this generation is that they found a way to make an issue be an issue until it's not. And in this situation, it's like I always try to think of great analogies for this when it comes to the whole her being a black woman. It's very historic. It's always going to be historic. Anything she does is going to be historic because it's not been done, and that's a right for her to look that way and to be in a position and to gain what she can from it. She has a right to do that, but you can't throw him a bone like that and think he's gonna grab it. No, that's not what he's just stating what she said. And no one ever was saying, hey, Kamala, you better go up there and say that because in the next 5, 6 years, you're gonna run for president. And then Donald Trump is gonna say that. That's not how that game works. these things are coming back to kind of bite her because she kind of plays the role too much. She's too likable. She's trying to be like, she's that friend that was just laughing at everybody jokes, and even though it wasn't that funny, and people can recognize that, and they don't want that. They don't need that as a president. That's people. And Trump is trying to expose, hey, and like you said, it doesn't really matter to me. It's because I have no clue how this race is gonna go. I'm just stating the obvious. The obvious is what she said, and she says these things just like with a lot of the things that he did. He made a lot of mistakes. You're gonna make mistakes as a president or a vice president. The question is when the mistakes is brought up, are you able to own it? And when one person has made better decisions than the other, the mistakes that they made dwindle. People care about your wins more than your losses. Michael Jordan made hundreds of thousands of basketball shots. No one cares about the ones he missed. They like the ones he made. That's how this world is made, man. So if Kamala is going to win, she's going to have to capitalize off of the good things that she has created. And unfortunately, that is a small amount of things that's not easily capitalized to what the American people are wanting to hear right now. They don't want to hear how you threw people in jail for weed. They don't care nothing about that. They sell cannabis up the street. They'll deliver it to you nowadays. So you can't like, you know what I mean? And then
Yeah,
at one point, wasn't she in charge of the border?
yeah. So that was another. Hey, he was getting on her with some real good questions. I thought Donald Trump was gonna play around like he normally do. He was very serious. Like
This was
he had legit concerns about the vice president. And he asked like, yo, using the moderator. The moderator asked, like, hey, Joe Biden actually tasked you with border patrol and protection. He asked her, so you really dropped the ball, and what do you say to that? She kind of answered it, but not really. Like some of these hard questions I really wanted the answers to, they kind of really
Yeah,
politic their way out of it.
her answer for that was, I'm the only one on stage who has prosecuted and put these, which to me is a
That
kind of
wasn't
a
the answer.
yeah,
My
it's not
answer
the
to the
answer. And
question.
even then, that's not that's a blanket statement to the fact of you, even if you did prosecute and all that, the idea of we need to secure this joker better than what we did is the orange dude. He did that. He was talk. I remember when we were younger, they talked so much stuff about him in that wall. They made songs. I think it's reggae songs, build a bridge, not a wall. It's so many things because people thought he was crazy. So to be here now, 6 years later, and to be really making this a real thing, yes, that is a very important issue because now people in Georgia, people in Texas are suffering. People all down the border are suffering because of bad policy, not because anybody is black or orange or purple. Nobody cares. The policy don't work. They like, hey man, my backyard open, bro. I need my backyard gated up, please. And the government like, sorry, they could just walk through, and they could take your tomatoes when they walk through. You ain't gonna do nothing for it? No. Oh, that's as
Um,
simple as it is. Oh, okay,
Let me see.
man.
So I know a lot of it. This is the last part before I get to the closing things. They had a question. The moderator had a question of, you know, how would you stop the war between Russia and Ukraine? Trump initial stance on it is, hey, first of all, this should never happen. It would never happen if I was president. I don't understand how y'all let this stuff go on. I'm cool with Putin. I'm cool with what's the other guy for Ukraine?
Zelensky.
I forgot which one it was, but he's like, I'm cool with both of these people. And I could have been. He's like, if He said, elect me president right now is going to be over in 24 hours.
Yeah,
A 2-year war. He said 2-year war is going to be over in 24 hours. He said, before I even take my stance at the inauguration, I'm going to go talk to them and be like, y'all stop that right now.
and that's an easy question, Solomon. I mean, if you look at the reason on why they started, what Russia was asking for was very simple. They wanted nothing to do with NATO, and they didn't want NATO that close to their border. This is again, it's always the border we arguing about. For the mankind's beginning of history, this is what it is. And one, they were promised something, and the promise was taken away. And they don't do well with that. We can get into their moral ethics and all that and how wrong they are later. But no one in the world does good when they're promised something and that promise is taken away. It don't matter from the Buddhist on down. No one likes that because it gives a signal of a dishonesty. And Donald Trump had recognized that, and he said that before in an interview. That's all I need to do. Give them what they want, and they're gonna stop, and they're gonna go home. NATO is strong enough. And if you remember, Donald Trump was getting in NATO's behind because he like, hey y'all, where y'all money at? So he's already kind of an enemy of them because he exposed how we were spending so much money to fund things and they weren't putting in their fair piece of pie. That's like you going out to dinner and you buy everybody food and they just buy the drinks and they think you slow. Again, here we go again. They think you slow and you can't read the receipt. And you really can't read the receipt because the people who supposed to translate the receipt to you ain't making it a big deal like it needs to be. Saying somebody, then this orange dude get in power and they just expose the whole thing. Not a whole table just looking crazy. This is what happened with NATO. So his situation with Russia is a very simple one. It is to me, 24 hours ain't even needed. This will be done in 12 hours. This will be done as fast as that phone can hit both their lines and that conversation can be had. Because Zelensky, no, he's outweighed in this. He's just playing the game because you're able to play the game. Once the real hammer say, all right, this is enough. There's always that one big brother that come in and say, all right, y'all, that's enough. Y'all leave him alone. Y'all going home. Enough people didn't die. We still got to worry about the whole situation with Israel, which they touched on Israel as well. So,
with Israel, for myself, it's like, what are we doing constantly trying to get into Israel? Now, supposedly, when you do the research behind Israel, they say that is the holy city. That is the place exactly where you can find God. That's the most holiest of holies of the world, not just the country that it's in, but this is supposedly why also the United States have their guards or our military over there. At this point, I want people to the truth ain't gonna come out. Let's just say that. I'm gonna just say that the truth ain't gonna never come out until you really look for it. But I agree when it comes to Trump is trying to leave things that he know he don't need to mess with alone. But we always, as Americans, have our hand in Israel all of the time when we don't even need to sometimes. And it's just like how they brought up the point with Afghanistan. He was like, yo, y'all pulled the troops out of Afghanistan. That's what really made Putin go in and start beefing with Ukraine. Now there's no protection. Y'all put protection over there and then y'all took them back. Why would y'all do something like that? I don't know. When it comes to these international affairs and wars that we have going on, I believe that we should only step in when we need to and stop trying to force ourselves into situations that we don't need to. That again goes with the whole big brother almighty USA ego that we have, of course, adopted, thinking we're one of the strongest powers because of military. Yeah, but if we are the strongest powers when it comes to military, we fall behind on everything else.
Well, yeah, and my rebuttal to that would have to be I get, with the situation with Hamas, and I don't if it wasn't it was you did once you start dealing with innocent people, America automatically kind of feels entitled to step in.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's a patriotic thing or if that's we have resources so we feel we should help. But the moment innocent people and it makes for it's not a story you would ever want to hear where what they did with the initiation of this war. And then of course Israel retaliates, but Israel is retaliating to what was done to them, but they're also very pissed. So they created even more of a problem because they went savage mode.
Yeah.
They went and this is what is created. Hurt warriors. They don't fight the same. That's a different level. That's a medieval type level. And we're constantly seeing this. And these are retaliations. So Israel retaliates even worse. And they kill innocent Palestinian women and children.
Mm.
Had nothing to do with it. But now with again hurt warriors. This is not a normal war anymore because the initiation was dirty. As they always say, you leave the women children alone. You fight the man of the house, or you fight the men. We supposed to be at each other and we leave them alone. So anytime you mess with them, it's like all gloves is off now. It's all dirty fight. It's whatever I can pick up, whatever I can grab, however I can get to you because you have hurt innocent ones. So I think that's why America really stepped in, bro. And I think we shouldn't have been in this as long as we have been. At some point, we have to learn how to say, we can do. That's okay. Even if you tried, once you see, you don't keep milking your citizens. You don't keep just milking them and milking them and milking them
That's
to where
exactly what
they
they be
try.
doing.
You say, okay, hey y'all saw we tried. They don't. We gotta leave them alone. We gotta let them figure it out on their own. They grown. They own countries. They grown. They're still adults over there too, bro. I don't know why we have this type of entitlement of, oh, they're the adults, but we're the real adults. No, we all grown.
Because we say we got the military strength, weapons, and nuclear bombs. That's why.
That's out of luck. That's out of you grabbing the greatest scientist after Nazi Germany failed.
Yep, that's facts.
That's
That's
out of you.
facts.
Great decisions. Let's just say that. I won't even say luck. I'll recount that. Let's just say you made great business decisions. But you know what? Those business decisions, you did those off of your intelligence of knowing how to manipulate. And these other countries are not like that. They don't all have that same Western mentality. So I don't that's their land. Let them figure it out. We need to figure out
Well,
how the hell to get our homeless people off the fuck. We all like you said, we in everybody mess. But I go downtown and people, can I get 50 cents? You live in the richest country in the world. But we're in
yeah,
everybody else's mess passing out money. You just like it. It's like it's just a
and
coupon.
that's what a lot of the American people like to uh, want the politicians to acknowledge. Hey, you guys are continuously putting so much money into all of these wars that ain't got nothing to do with us, but you're not putting none of the money back into the citizens. And so the last point I wanted to say, because we wanted to know about policies and what they really stand for. Trump was basically just reiterating that he rebuilt the economy during his presidency, he rebuilt the military, and a lot of his points was like, hey, we need to make sure that if we are going to bring people into the United States, let's document them, let's make sure we keep them accountable and make sure that they are not criminals and trying to do harm to our citizens. Kamala mostly was going on and on about, hey, giving $25,000 to the first time home buyers, giving $50,000 for new people that's starting a business. That's one of some of her policies and things that she wants to do. She continuously to hammer down that she wants to continue to work for the middle class and the working families and help those new families and things of that nature. And when she said new families, bro, this is just my take. This might be a hot take. Whoever wants to comment on this live after this is done, I believe, now this is just me talking, and this is new. I haven't told Luke about this. I believe that Kamala will give the migrants those new policies that she wants to give, such as first time home buyers and business startups. I believe Kamala is going to give that to the migrants.
I mean, as far as winning election strategy is concerned, if they're becoming citizens, you're gonna win over the newest citizens. It's like trying to win over the newest customers on the block. A new family moved in and you've been selling washing machines to the whole neighborhood. Now there's another washing machine company. You're trying to get to that family first. So we know what's coming down the road with this. And yeah, they might throw us something too, but they're gonna say they just like y'all now. We're all together. We're all one family. We're just a big family. But can we all sustain each other that fast? You're not supposed to feed a fish all of them food in the goddamn own thing all the time. They're gonna explode. They're gonna just keep eating and eating. You have to gradually allow it. And this is why there is a system made for letting immigrants in. There is a legal way that you do it. There is a way, a process that was made. And if it's not the best, then you tweak it, but you don't just throw it out the window. It's crazy, man. You can't do that. It's not right. We're too young. We're telling older people that's not right. Come on, man. That don't make no sense.
Well, family, I hope you enjoyed our live edition. This is our first time going live on the channel. Leave y'all comments and everything on the channel and give us, make sure y'all like and subscribe. Thank y'all for the subscribers. Yeah, we're constantly growing. Follow us on all the social media platforms at the Pharaohs Podcast. On Instagram, we are the Pharaoh Podcast 3. But we're on TikTok now. And we're doing very well. We got people just seeing us. So please support the channel and let us know in the comment section what y'all think about the presidential debate. Like I say, we ain't trying to sway you one way or the other. We're just bringing our reaction to how it was, and it was very, like I say, not entertaining per se, but very intellectual. It was very calm for Donald Trump. Donald Trump ain't go off the rails 100%. When he did, he was calling Biden stupid. And then he said then he said it was like, yeah, y'all had to wake up Biden at 4 p.m. in the afternoon because he was asleep.
Yeah, he was going in. He was coming in.
So I'm glad they whoever on his team told him, hey, this is a black woman, and they're gonna, well, she's a woman of color, and you better be careful what you say to her because they're gonna run with that whole cycle, news cycle.
They
Just
will. They, you know them. They're waiting on that viral moment, and I mean, you
yeah,
expect that from both parties. They're waiting on that viral moment. That's all. Like you said, we're not trying to sway you. We're here to state the facts,
yeah,
and we only can state what has happened. We don't have control over the stuff. We only can state what's happened, and that's what we're laid with. That's what's on the table. So we, as a people, or whoever decides to vote, you have a decision to make off of what the information you have, and you have to make a decision based on what you can find to be the most logical and trustworthy information. So I like to say, when someone say it, take them for what their word is. And both of these candidates have done and said things of power. So all you have to do now is weigh it as a person. That's all we saying. Weigh it to yourself. They both had power and they both had a lot of media time. So take your time out to see which person you think works best for you. And that to me would be a great way to make a logical decision.
Well, we'll see if they do a part 2 of this debate. That's all we got for y'all, family. Check out the Pharaohs podcast every Monday, 6 p.m. Central Time and 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Peace.